Now then, right, hello everybody. Bit of a crazy evening. Sorry I'm a little bit late. Lots of hedgehogs and a cat to feed now and everybody else. So we're ready to go. Right, a little bit late tonight. We've gone for 9:30. So some of you might not join in, but the replay will always be available on this series. So there will be some members only content coming up soon, or members exclusives first. But this series in particular will be available on the replay, free to everybody for the replay crew. Big up the replay crew. Right then, hello, we're going to be delving back into this very bizarre scientist scenario. Now, this is the big one I've been wanting to cover, and it's quite a lot to go over, so we'll just be covering one tonight. First of all, before we continue, let me know if you can hear me okay, because that would help. And then if the audio sounds good and the signal is good, yeah, apparently that's good, then we will be good to go. Right. So the one we're going to be covering tonight is called William Neil McCasland. So we've not covered him yet, purely because we've been doing this in chronological order. So we're now at him. Though there's another one, that another name has popped up since that messes up my timeline because we've been going in chronological order. So there's going to be a couple of ones that we pop in that are from the past. But this one takes us all the way up to this year in 2026. It's a weird one. So we covered a little bit of it, if you remember, at the very end of the last stream. What's this? Right, I'm just going to get rid of that, and we're going to get a picture up of what he looked like, and I'm going to give you a little bit more information. They're trying to push. Don't listen to the mainstream media. They really are trying to push some narrative that this guy just wandered off. Well, he vanished. He vanished into thin air. But there's a lot to this one. So let me know if the audio's okay. I'm just going to grab up a photo of William, and then we'll take it from there. They actually did a silver alert for him, which is what they do for when in America, if you've got like a child that goes missing, they do what they call an amber alert. Well, if you're an elderly person, they do what they call a silver alert. So let's just get this up. I hope you're all okay. I'll check this chat in a minute and just make sure that everyone can hear me okay. All right, so this is William Neil McCasland. I've got a script ready to go as well, which is so there's the silver alert there. Okay, right, what are people saying in chat? Hi Lee, hi Nikki, thank you very much. Audio is good. Susan, Stephen's here. Air fryer's going. So I'm just talking to Al. Who else is here? We've got Nikki. Audio is good. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you guys a lot. Just getting to the live chat. We've got 13 watching. Please hit the like or the dislike if you don't like the content. We don't get upset. We really don't. Well, I don't anyway. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to bring you what I like doing in my hobby. And if I make new friends along the way, then that's great. I've made some amazing friends on YouTube, and I've got some, I think you're just all awesome. But if people come in and they don't like me, then that's fine as well, you know? Right, okay. Who else is here? Claire Bear's here. I love the way Claire Bear changed her name because I kept calling her Claire Bear. I think that's awesome. Candice, Susan, Stephen, Rach, Morningish Penny. Okay, now, William Neil McCasland, this is very, very interesting. He was actually working with Monica Reza, who disappeared and vanished last summer. I think it was last August or July. She just disappeared into thin air, going on a hike up a mountain. So let me just get this up ready. I'm going to give you a full timeline of what happened. Here goes. Oh, right, so we're diving straight back into the deep end of the New Mexico desert. If you remember, there's been quite a few. Hi, Nanny, how are you doing? So we're talking about a man who held the keys to the military's most sensitive aerospace secrets. Major General William Neil was his middle name, but a lot of people called him Neil McCasland, was a former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory. This is him on your screen right now. The man explicitly named in the Podesta WikiLeaks emails. Did you know that? And Tom DeLonge, who is the former frontman of Blink-182, do you remember the band? He's now a UFO person, UFOologist. It's crazy. He was part of he was the frontman to Blink-182, and now he's doing all of this. He does interviews, he does podcasts on UFOs. Quite an interesting chap. So Major General McCasland was named in the Podesta emails. This guy was high up in the WikiLeaks, and he was Tom DeLonge's top tier UFO advisor. He has been missing now for 3 months. So this was the original, was put out on the 27th of February on the county sheriff's Facebook page. So it's from the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, and it says they're looking for assistance from the public for a 68-year-old William Neil McCasland, last seen on the 27th of February 2026 at approximately 11 a.m. in the area of Quail Run at I don't know what CTNE, whatever that means. I don't know because I'm not from that area. Unknown. This gets really weird, but this is the initial alert. Unknown clothing description, unknown direction of travel due to medical issues. Right. Now, here he is here. So this was the QR code. So if you want to submit an anonymous tip to the sheriff's office, there's a lot of obviously people commenting about this. Susan, this is Neil's cousin in New Jersey. Jack and I are sorry to hear about his disappearance, sending our prayers. Oh, right. So there's a lot of people talking about him here, you know, what he did and so on. So I'm just going to leave his photo on here while I just continue with what we're talking about. But this one is probably the most intriguing out of them all. We're going to watch some videos as well. There might be a two-parter. There's a lot to do on this one. So the official story says he wandered into the mountains. There's no evidence of that. But when you look at the exact time frame for the bizarre list of items he left on his counter, the official narrative completely fractures. So we're going to have a look at the receipts here. Okay. So the morning that he disappeared at approximately 10 a.m., a home repairman arrives at his home in Albuquerque, hi Saskia, which is where we've had several go missing from the Albuquerque area, okay, New Mexico, where Area 51 allegedly is. So this repairman came. Now, apparently he was planned. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Saskia, love. Apparently this was a planned visit because I was immediately suspicious. If you want to take somebody out, what's the best way to do it? Send a repairman. It's always in the movies, isn't it? A repairman turns up. Now, allegedly, this was planned. Who knows? So the repairman confirmed that he was home and in a normal frame of mind. Now, this was at 10 a.m. Now, at 10 past 11, his wife leaves the house for a routine medical appointment. Okay, so his wife leaves the house at 12:15, so approximately 1 hour and 5 minutes later. His wife Susan returns home. The house is empty. McCasland has left on foot. Her husband has gone. Spotting the items left on the counter, she immediately dials 911. We're going to watch a few clips in a moment, but I just want to give you the basics of this, okay? So New Mexico, she contacts the police. Then the next day, on the 28th of February, New Mexico issues a statewide silver alert confirming that McCasland has an unspecified chronic medical condition. Interesting. The 6th of March, after a week of grid searching, the sheriff's office announces 0 signs of foul play. Susan releases a statement addressing the UFO rumours. So what we're going to do, we're going to watch some videos on this. Just bear with me. If I can find them now. Probably won't be able to find them now because when you want something, you can never find it, can you? Because this has gone even weirder and weirder. Since I last spoke to you, more has come out on this. Right, let me just get that off a moment. And I hope you're all well and having a nice weekend. It's too hot, isn't it? Right. Just looking for a video on YouTube to show you. Right, we've got the body cam footage come up now, but before we get into the body cam footage, I want to show you the original story because we need to start at the beginning with this. Because if I go straight into what's happening at the moment with the body cam footage, the whole story won't make sense. You need a full timeline of what happened. So we're just going to get into a clip that I want to show you from a month ago. And we're going to hear the call from his wife. Okay, so we're going to hear that in one moment. But before we do that, I just want to continue with this. So on the 12th of March, which was like 3 weeks later, the FBI in Albuquerque field office and state police search and rescue officially take over the case with advanced tracking. So it took them nearly 3 weeks for the FBI to get involved. 3 months later, nothing. No clothing, no body, absolutely no answers. Now, what is so weird about this is what he left behind. He left behind his smartwatch and his fitness trackers. Again, there was no way of finding him. Every single one that's gone missing has left behind their mobile phone and their trackers. Now, his wife says, we're going to hear that in a moment, it looks like he planned to not be found. Now, he left behind his personal cell phone. No cell tower has been pinged. Now, he left behind his prescription reading glasses. He physically needs these for detail work. He can't see. Now, what he did take with him was his personal wallet and a heavy-duty mountain hiking boots. And we later found that what was missing was a .38 caliber revolver from the house. So we believe that he took that. Why would you leave your prescription glasses but take a loaded firearm? It doesn't make any sense. Now, the mainstream media wants you to think that he was just a retired veteran dealing with a private health crisis. But it still doesn't make any sense. First, he was commander of the AFRL at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Wright-Patterson is where several have gone missing from in the series or died. And it's where allegedly the remains of Roswell were taken to, though obviously we can't prove that. So he was commander of the base. That is the epicenter of the foreign technology exploitation and advanced sensor arrays. Now, his recent employment, right until he vanished, he was Director of Technology at Applied Technology Associates, a core branch of Blue Halo. But what does Blue Halo do? They're a massive defence giant specialising in space warfare, direct energy weapons, remember Amy Eskridge, and next generation missile defence. He was still fully embedded in the military industrial complex. This is getting weirder and weirder and deeper and deeper. Whew. Right, let me know if you're interested and I'll continue with some more information before we watch some videos. Do you want me to carry on? This is where things get weird. We have to talk about the Tom DeLonge connection. In 2016, the leaked John Podesta emails exposed that General McCasland, High Space Cat, let me just get this up so you can see him again before we go to the video that I want to show. Carry on. I wanted to get an image up so that you can see, well, this is what we're going to be covering in a minute. Hang on this.
And I have...
I don't know what's going on with my internet bar. Right, okay. So before we get onto this call, I'm going to continue with this. Now, the leaked John Podesta WikiLeaks emails exposed that General McCasland was the shadow advisor helping Tom DeLonge build his UFO disclosure narrative. So he was named in those emails. Now, on March the 6th, his wife Susan tried to downplay this. She stated he was just an unpaid technical consultant helping with sci-fi books, and that his clearances were over a decade out of date. She's really played this down because she's probably terrified. But look at the pattern that we've been tracing. Ingrid Lane, we haven't got onto her yet, but she will be next after we've covered General McCasland. It doesn't stop, it just keeps on going. How long have I been covering this now? Now, Anthony Chavez walks away from his keys and wallet in Los Alamos, which isn't far at all. We've got Kevin Childress, who we spoke about last time, dies unexpectedly right as he's trying to brief Congress on the UFO files. And now General, who ran the entire base, Wright Patterson, walks into the desert, though we don't know where he's gone because there's no trace, with a revolver and vanishes without a trace. It doesn't make any sense. And the dogs have not picked up anything. There's no scent trail. There's nothing. So what we're going to hear now is his wife, if I remember rightly, we're going to hear the 911 call. This was a month ago. So we're going to start at the beginning. So let's have a listen.
Walks out of his house in the middle of the day. Apparently leaves his phone, his glasses, his smartwatch, seemingly changes his clothes into something that his wife apparently can't identify, and then nothing. For weeks, no sightings, no video, no answers, just speculation. UFOs, government secrets, and
just let me know, can you guys hear the video okay before I mute myself for a little bit and have a bit of my tea and leave this running? Can you guys hear this video okay? This is really bizarre. It's literally like he was sucked up from space. Yeah, okay, right. We're going to leave this running for a short time. Brilliant channel. The work that this guy's done is amazing. So we're going to listen to this. We're going to put the link into it. We are reviewing his video on fair use, and I'm going to be stopping it as well, okay?
Tied to hacked emails about Roswell, but right now, we have something new. We have something in our hands that as of right now, at the time we're publishing this, we haven't seen anyone else publish it. This is a brand new 911 call from his wife made just hours after he vanished. And I want you to listen. This is part of it. I want you to listen to what she tells the dispatcher.
My husband is missing. Okay. And it's been about 3 hours, and I have some indication that he must have planned not to be found.
That, again, is the wife of retired Major General William McCasland. And what she says next about his mental state, about him not wanting to be found, we're not only going to break it down, but we're also going to bring in somebody to help make sense of this, a key law enforcement expert with the Cold Case Foundation. Because when weeks go by with no answers,
let's not forget that the repairman was there that morning, said he was at perfectly sound mind. So, but that initial 911 call is very interesting, because that is, I like to go back to the beginning on stuff. I don't like jumping straight to the here and now, even though there's more explosive stuff on this, which we might get to tonight. We might not. I don't know. We might have to do a two-parter. Tomorrow night I'm free, I think. Yeah. So, but this call is really interesting because it's just like 3 hours. I would have rang the police sooner than that.
A man who spent his career inside America's most secretive programs just vanishes into thin air. Where do investigators even start? Where did they go? What do we make of this 911 phone call? Now, before we even get into this new audio that we haven't heard before, I need to put all of this into context so the call will make sense, okay? Who exactly are we talking about? Who exactly are we looking for? William Neil McCasland, 68 years old, retired Major General, United States Air Force. This isn't some random guy who wandered off. This is somebody who spent 34 years apparently working on some of the most sensitive technology the military has. Astronautical engineering, space acquisition, the National Reconnaissance Office, that's the spy satellite people. And eventually he took command of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Now, Wright-Patterson, it's important. For decades, conspiracy theorists have claimed
Wright-Patterson, Ohio. Now, Amy Eskridge was in Ohio. Just saying.
that is where the government secretly stored debris from Roswell. The Air Force, to be clear, has never confirmed that, but the association sticks. And as we continue to cover this case, a person like this goes missing, people start talking, people start speculating. Now, the conspiracy theories aside, here's what we actually do know. We know that it was February 27th, a Thursday morning. Now, according to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, around 10 a.m., a repairman shows up at McCasland's home on Quail Run Court in Albuquerque in New Mexico. Scheduled appointment, goes inside, interacts with McCasland. That's confirmed. And about an hour later, 11:10, his wife, Susan, leaves for a doctor's appointment. When she gets back, just after noon, 12:04, he's apparently gone. Now, at first glance, maybe he stepped out for a walk. He's an avid outdoorsman, hiking, biking, skiing, knew those foothills cold in the area. But then she starts looking around. His phone still on the counter. His prescription glasses sitting there. His smartwatch abandoned there. And his clothes, she says she knew what he was wearing when she left, but, and this is interesting, she ends up finding those clothes later in the closet. So
he's taken off the clothes that he had on just over an hour before and put them back in the wardrobe. What the hell? This just gets weirder and weirder. I hope you're all okay. Please hit the like button if you don't mind. It does help. If you don't like the content, I won't be upset if you don't like me. I will not cry. Obviously, we're all friends here and we all get on. And actually would be upset if one of the people that we liked did do that. But, you know, we're not upset if people come in new and they don't like the stream. But hopefully you guys, our regulars, and some new people might be enjoying this. It's really interesting. But why would you leave your clothes? It makes zero sense. They are really shadow banning this channel, by the way. It's ridiculous. Nothing gets any views now. I don't understand it. And I know there's people watching my content. I don't know why YouTube don't like. Well, actually, I can work out why they don't like. Do you remember when I started talking about the Fabians the other day? And I went down to one viewer, even though there was like 20 of you chatting? Absolutely bonkers. Bonkers. Anyway, so if YouTube don't like me talking about this, then I'm sorry, but this needs to be spoken about.
Changed into something else, something she can't identify right now. So she calls 911 and right away, she says something that will just stop you cold. Again, this is new audio. We haven't heard it before. Take a listen.
This is April. How may I help you?
Hi, April. My name is Susan Wilkerson. My husband is missing.
Okay.
And it's been about 3 hours, and I have some indication that he must have planned not to be found. He's left his phone. He changed his clothes into I don't know what. I think he's on foot. All of our cars and bicycles are in the garage. I left for a doctor's appointment at about 11:10, and he was here at that time at the house. And I got back from that at noon, and he was gone. He turned it off and left it behind, which seems kind of deliberate because he's always got his phone. He has a smartwatch. I don't know if that's with him or not.
Has he ever done this before?
Never. Nothing even remotely like it. He's a retired Air Force Major General. He's very responsible, but he's also facing some medical issues.
Do you have any video at your home?
No.
Has he been diagnosed with any mental disorders or anything like that?
Why wouldn't you have any cameras? Everybody has CCTV now, don't they? What's that about? Why is there no cameras and evidence of this? I find that really bizarre as well. Don't know about you guys, but that just seems a bit weird to me. So, yeah. So at this moment in time, she doesn't realise that the watch has gone, as you can hear. She actually says, is his smartwatch there? And she says she doesn't know. She thinks it might be with him. So, interesting. At this point, she doesn't realise. Let's continue.
Well, we've been seeing a doc for both physical and mental in terms of anxiety,
Short. Say we as in both of them. Hang on.
Physical and mental in terms of anxiety, short-term medical issues.
Do you have any video at your home?
No.
Has he been diagnosed with any mental disorders or anything like that?
Well, we've been seeing a doc for both physical and mental in terms of anxiety, short-term memory loss, lack of sleep. The same doc I went to see today.
Does he carry any weapons on him?
Well, not generally. He does have a gun safe, and I went to look in the gun safe to see if anything was missing, but I couldn't tell if anything was. He has quite a number of pistols and rifles. Other than saying if his brain and body keep deteriorating, he didn't want to live like that. But it seemed to me that was just a, man, I hate how this is going kind of thing, because I told him, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay. We're going to send some deputies up to talk to you, see if we can search a little bit and see what's going on, okay?
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
So here's a question, okay? You're a 911 dispatcher. Woman calls, says her husband, this former Major General, walked out of the house hours ago, no phone, no glasses, apparently changed his clothes, and she says he planned not to have been found. I mean, honestly, what goes through your head about that? How do you even start the investigation? And by the way, how does the wife know this, right? That's key, right? What about his routine? Did she know about him says that this is a situation that he may have taken active steps to not be found? So to help answer all of this, to get reaction to this, to figure out where this investigation goes from here, we're bringing in somebody who has been doing this work for decades. Chris McDonough is Director of Law Enforcement Relations and an investigative consultant with the Cold Case Foundation. Chris, so good to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate the invitation, bud.
Will you tell me what stands out to you the most about that call?
Well, right away, I mean, the first red flag with inside that phone call is just that comment. He must have a plan or something to that effect. And, that's kind of one of these anomalies, right? What we would call DLR, doesn't look right or doesn't sound right. And not that it couldn't be right. That would be like the first step off point when the first officer gets on the scene to start looking into this thing.
The idea that she didn't say someone must have taken him, someone must have done something to him. There was this acknowledgement that based on the man she knows, and in particular about the clothing and the items left behind, that he did this, that he didn't want to be found. You compare it to the Nancy Guthrie case, which is obviously different, but there wasn't an indication, well, maybe initially that we weren't entirely sure what happened, but it was pretty clear this wasn't a wandering off situation, and yes, she's much older than McCasland, but the idea that he must have planned not to be found is very, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because who's introducing that plan? Right? We hear it very first on the 911 call. He planned not to be found. Well, all right, when the first deputy gets on the scene and they start, they have a couple of priorities. The first priority is to see if there's any suspicious activity in relationship to how the environment looks. Okay, then the second activity there that's going on simultaneously is you're interviewing witnesses, and in this case, the family, the wife, and you want to lock them into a statement so that, later on when the investigators get on scene, and if it didn't sound right or it doesn't look right, like we were talking a moment ago, then, you tell that to your first responding investigators.
Hi, Jane. Isn't this intriguing? So if you're happy, we'll continue, because it's good to get this guy's perspective, who's an expert on missing people.
And the third piece of that puzzle is you got to start looking through the house, and you have to start looking through
the fact that she says, I feel like he doesn't want to be found. That's weird, isn't it? It's not the sort of thing you would just come out with.
Anomalies that she may have been talking about on the phone, i.e., she has a lot of guns. He's been going through a lot of mental stuff. We went to the same doctor, et cetera. And you want to start looking for evidence that will correlate to the truthfulness of potentially that statement. So in this case, it is critical and would have been critical right from the very moment that first deputy got on scene to potentially start telling the story.
I think the clothes were a big indication, right? The idea that the clothes were. So does it become almost impossible to know what he was wearing then? I mean, how do you know the whole wardrobe collection of a human being, even if you're married to them? And also, unless they purchased clothes beforehand that they hadn't worn before, that seems like a challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, right. And this is why you don't go into these investigations asking the word how, but always asking the word why. Why would he have left, the items behind, like his cell phone, his prescription glasses, all the wearables, right? The things that you're going to need out there in the world. And so you have to start breaking that down. And then you have to start plugging those, gaps of really gumshoe investigative techniques. I mean, the strongest tool for any surgeon is a scalpel. But for an investigator, it's the question. So the very first type of questions that are put out to the witnesses / even the wife and the family, those are going to tell you the wounds potentially inside this investigation. And you're going to be able to figure out, okay, how do I need to stitch these wounds up? Where investigators get screwed up is they write the prescription without doing the diagnosis. And so sometimes, if somebody was, if there's foul play here, well, the suspect has the advantage in that situation. And, some of the red flags that even like you're talking about there jump right out. He missing hiking boots, a gun, et cetera. But where's all of this coming from? It's coming from the inside of his home, i.e. through the witnesses that last saw him. And so you want to make sure that you're cutting through that pretty quickly with the right type of questioning and interviewing techniques.
And I wonder if there's a complication that this is not just John Smith who disappears, but this is somebody who has training. This is somebody who's an outdoorsman. And you wonder if this is the case where they don't want to be found. Is it likely they won't be found?
Well, that's always a possibility, right? I mean, with his military training, the question is, if he's wandering away from his house, you have to now do what they call a geographical profile and say, okay, how far would this guy get? He's 68 years old, may have some upcoming health issues, but he's also healthy. Based on what his wife is saying, he doesn't have any dementia issues per se. So immediately you'd want to talk to his doctors. You'd want to talk to the last people that saw him and try to tighten up that timeline. And then simultaneously, if he doesn't want to be found, then you want to start looking for a digital footprint in today's environment.
I just want to go back to the mental health aspect of it, right? I think that's really a concerning, chilling part of it, the lack of sleep, short-term memory loss, anxiety, if my brain and body keeps deteriorating.
Do you know what I mean? Because she says brain and body is deteriorating. And he was working with the direct energy. Hi, Nathan Penn. He was working with direct energy weapons. What the hell? Again, Amy Eskridge. If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes that I did on this with Amy Eskridge, honestly, you need to watch it, because what she went through, she actually recorded everything that she was going through and said she wasn't suicide. You know, I can't say the full word. And she apparently killed herself. But we've had no police report or nothing.
Question of whether or not he wants to live like that. One of the challenges is if we are dealing with a situation,
I want to go forward a little bit and just see this here.
Oh, if that's a possibility, that could have taken him to a secondary location and said, okay, we're going to go from here.
Yeah, or he wanted to meet with somebody. We just don't know, because again, it's such a narrow window.
For maybe overnight camping.
Caliber revolver,
the
leather holster, still missing. Sheriff's office was asked if he normally carried it. Take a look.
This was the 16th of March. So this was 3 weeks after he'd gone missing. And this was when the FBI took over from the local sheriff's office. But this is, as far as I'm aware, the first press conference.
Commonly hike with a weapon on him. That would be relegated for maybe overnight camping trips and things of that sort. And then it was for personal protection. So what are we looking for with that? Well, if, say, General McCasland had recently gone to a pawn shop and sold that off, and we just weren't aware of that, or his wife wasn't aware of that, we'd want to know that. And so that would be something that would be of interest. If someone is hiking in the mountains and finds a spent .38 special casing, that would be unique, that we would want to be able to take and process. So that's why we're putting that information out.
Yeah, Chris, real quick. I mean, that's a really smart police work to try to figure out how the gun could be connected, but I haven't heard any updates about it. So I wonder if that's a dead end now.
It could be, Jesse. It actually could. And the anomaly there is he took it with a holster. Okay. If you're going to, typically with somebody who's going to do self-harm, for lack of a better term, why do you need the holster? Okay. I mean, I've seen so many death scenes that if somebody's going to take care of business, i.e. they're going to hurt themselves, they're just going to tuck that weapon right in, potentially into their pants or carry it or whatever.
I would challenge and say maybe again, if we're talking about him taking it, custom. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was it's process. He always kept it in the holster, let's say. And maybe, I don't know what distance he might have traveled. It would have been whatever alleged plan he had or whatever he wanted to do. It would have been more secure to have it in the holster before he decided to use it, or if he needed to use it.
Right. And I wouldn't disagree with that at all. But at the same time, he's going to go to a location where they're going to find his body. And they haven't discovered that at this point. So it's almost like these items are mentioned to create this confusion. And that's, I guess, where I'm going there in that thought process. It's like there's too many little details that do not make sense. The boots, the wallet, all the stuff that he left behind, but he takes his gun and it's like, well, wait a minute, that's not lining up.
There's another layer to this story that a lot of people just can't stop talking about. I want to get your take on it, because McCasland apparently isn't the only person in his orbit who's disappeared or died under strange circumstances. There is Melissa Cassius, worked as an administrative assistant at Los Alamos National Laboratory. This is the same lab that developed the atomic bomb. She vanished in June of 2025, walked away from her car, left her phone, wallet, keys behind. Last seen on camera, walking alone on a highway, gone. There's Monica Reza, a NASA rocket scientist, disappeared.
So we've covered all of these. So we've heard the other one we've just had then when she just vanished. She was last seen on camera walking along the highway, dropped her husband at work, took her daughter a Subway sandwich at work, and then just vanished into thin air. she was a administrator in one of these propeller rocket NASA bases, and her husband worked there as well. And then this is Monica Reza, who vanished, as we're going to hear, and she was actually in the same area. She would have known General McCasland and possibly worked on the same dogs arena. It's the same projects with McCasland.
Hiking with friends in California just
I'm going to
4
mute
days
a minute because the
before
dogs
Cassie
are
is
playing on the
Spanish.
bed.
She worked on a project funded by the Air Force Research Laboratory, the same lab that McCasland used to oversee. And then there's Carl Grillmeyer, renowned astrophysicist, shot dead at his home in California in February, right around the time that McCasland went missing. His shooter was arrested, worked on telescope projects that were powered by military technology that was monitored by that same lab. And to be clear, I'm not saying all this is connected. Correlation is not causation. But do you see a disturbing pattern here? Do you think this should all be investigated?
Absolutely. I mean, with those types of connections, right? Who's in a circle of influence? And now, all these other individuals have also, disappeared. And it's interesting. Look at the correlations in relationship to hiking. Okay, and just people outdoors. All of these events occurring outdoors. If that in of itself is suspicious, what are the odds of a team working together, and this explains, and then disappearing together, right? And this explains why the FBI is involved in this, and it's not just a local issue from the sheriff's department. That was one of the things that jumped out right away to me. It's like, why are the feds involved in this? Yeah, the guy's retired military. I mean, my father was in the Marine Corps for 31 years. Okay, but if he disappeared, the federal FBI wouldn't come knocking on my door. Okay, and so there's a real challenge there when we see them involved, and maybe it's to your point because there potentially could be a correlation.
Former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker told the Daily Mail that investigators just can't look at these cases in isolation. He said, quote, "The FBI can't have these examined in isolation and compartmentalize them as individual missing person cases." You have Congressman Eric Burleson also called for the FBI to get involved. He said the disappearances are deeply concerning. And then I want to go to this other aspect, the UFO angle, because McCasland's name shows up in those hacked WikiLeaks emails. Tom DeLonge talking about him as the guy who ran the lab at Wright-Patterson, same place that Roswell debris supposedly went. Tom DeLonge from Blink-182. Sheriff's office was asked about this. Their answer was basically, just because it's crazy doesn't mean it's not true, but we can't investigate that. And I've asked a bunch of guests that I've talked to about this. How far can they go in terms of looking at his past and looking at his history and looking at what he was working on? Because I imagine there's issues of, security clearance and classified documents. Talk to me about that.
Well, they can't go very far. Even the feds can't go very far, the FBI, unless, there's, what they call green card security.
So I'm not going to finish watching all that, but I'll put the link in. I'll pop it in again. This is really, really crazy, crazy stuff. So we've got more. There's more with General McCasland. So far, it doesn't make any sense, does it? It just doesn't make any sense. Hang on a sec. Hang on. Sorry, I've got somebody messaging me on WhatsApp as I'm streaming. I'm like, I'm streaming live. This is like this is mind-blowing, this one. This is probably the most intriguing one because it doesn't end there. So we hear the 911 call. It honestly doesn't make any sense. So we've heard that. Let me just get back into this because there's so much more. There are so much more. And the fact that it's named in the WikiLeaks email as well. Now, she did really try to play down this. Now, she made, let me just see if I can find it for you quickly. I should have got this ready first, really, but I do need to find it. because she made a Facebook post. I think it was a Facebook post. And she says something really, really bizarre about UFOs taking him. Let me just see if I can find it. Hold on. I think it was a Facebook post. It's one thing I forgot to get ready. I just think it's a really weird thing for her to say. So she says maybe UFOs beamed him up. Like, what a strange thing to come out with. I just find that really, really bizarre thing to say. Like, she said, there's nothing to see here, is how she says it. There's nothing to see here. Maybe he just got beamed up by UFOs. So I'm just going to play this clip now. We've got ads first, so I'm just going to put this on. I hope you guys are finding this as intriguing as I do. Right. Got ads, so just bear with me. I just want to show this clip and I'll put the audio on. Just really weird thing to say, because this was a month after he'd gone missing and everyone was saying, like, there's something to see here because of his connections to the UFO community, and she downplayed the entire thing and made out there was nothing. Right, let's just put the audio on.
Jonathan Gilliam. Here we are, another very bizarre missing case, this one with this UFO tie. Welcome to you and thank you. I want to share a comment from News Nation's investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who has been watching this case closely. He believes it's odd that McCasland went out without his phone. Here's part of that.
It's a real question mark. It's almost as if, was he going out to meet somebody and he didn't want to be tracked or listened to? What is also puzzling a lot of his friends is the low-key nature of the FBI investigations. This is a very senior former Pentagon general, a man with some of the most sensitive national secrets in his head. It really hasn't featured much at all in any media releases by local sheriffs or by the FBI. Right. They're taking an extremely low-key approach.
Jonathan, now that the FBI is involved here, what stands out to you investigatively about trying to find this guy?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that to look at closely, which I'm sure the FBI is. One of the interviews they just played there a second ago, where somebody's saying that that there's no reason to look at the FBI community, or excuse me, the UFO community. I mean, look, we as an investigator, you look at every community, you look at every person, every possibility, and that's what FBI agents are going to do. They're going to come in there. The law enforcement low-key investigation, as you saw, you were on the ground down in Tucson. It's hard to gauge what is actually happening by the activity of the sheriffs or local police at times. So what stands out to me, though, is that he left his home and went to a hiking trail, if the information that I have is correct. It's often people go to a hiking trail and they don't take their phone, and they potentially want to unplug, or maybe he had an iWatch where he can make calls from his watch. So that would lead me to believe potentially he had a medical issue when he was on a trail. But from a point of security and the potential for who could have had an interest in abducting the general, the fact that he had access and information to some very classified information and technology-driven information for the vital to the United States government, that would be very, very important for the FBI to solve, because if he was kidnapped, they may not want anything to do with a ransom. These, if it was a nation state or another country, or even espionage, industrial espionage, that took this general and tried to get information out from him, that is a real possibility. Marnie, these are possibilities. We just don't see them very often.
Guys, I'm just finding this Facebook post. I'm nearly there. Just bear with me. Just keep this on for a moment.
I think that is something that the FBI is going to be looking into. And his normal movements and his normal activity is going to play a big part in this, I believe.
Yeah. And we also know that homeowners in the area, I mean, hundreds of people who live in the area have been contacted about their security footage. What other investigative tools will law enforcement be looking into to try to uncover any evidence, even in his own digital interactions?
Sure. Well, his activity, like if that's a regular time that he goes for a hike, of course, that they're going to find that out. Where his phone was previous to that, was he meeting with certain people? What phones were in that location? Phones play a huge part in all these. I'm so surprised when bad guys do things with phones on their side. But they do. And who was around him at that particular time, and who has been around him? Generally speaking, where he's been at. So they have all the ability to look at all these different things with phones. Of course, the cameras, now that we know that Google has Nest camera, whether you subscribe to it or not, that may be something that the FBI is looking into now.
Oh, as well. They had Nest Cam, but they never paid the subscription. But she said there was no cameras. But I found this Facebook post, but I'm just going to leave this running for a moment.
There's going to be a lot of technology that 30 years ago wasn't used, but is really becoming mainstay right now. And I would think also if they have the ability to get dogs out there, that's going to be a huge thing, because they can track from his house. Even now, that was February 27th. That's nothing for these dogs. They can still latch onto a scent from his home and see where that ended. And that is something that they should have done already if they haven't, but I would suspect that that's what they'll do.
Yeah, I know they're getting assistance from his base where he worked there as well. Jonathan Gilliam, thank you as always.
1 second, it's a pipe dream.
I'm just going to get rid of that a sec. Right, okay. Right, I found the Facebook post. Just bear with me. I don't know why it's doing that, but let's just do this. Come out of it a minute, and then we can read it. Okay, now this is wife. There she is. Hello, Sing Blue Silver as well. I've just said to her, I said, I'm really sorry. I'm live. She said, sorry, darling. I wanted to say congratulations, but I couldn't. But I won't go into what you said. But yeah, that's amazing. Amazing news. Yeah, she's been hurt. Do you know, it's been a week today since I last seen you. So depressing. Yeah, I've not seen her since last Saturday. Anyway, she'll be back soon, hopefully. So you can't really see this. Let me try and make this a little bit bigger. I don't know if you've been following this story, free speech, but this is so bizarre. Now, this was a week after Neil went missing, and his wife, Susan McCasland, on the 6th of March says, Neil McCasland has now been missing for 1 week. Not my husband has been missing for a week. It's a bit weird. It's very it's not very personal, is it? If my husband was missing, touch wood, then I would be saying my husband has been missing. It makes me wonder whether she actually wrote this post, because this was a week after people were saying, oh, it's been taken, it's to do with UFOs, and she was literally playing the whole thing down. Now, she says there has been no indication whatsoever of where he might be. There have been dozens of searches on foot, both official and friends and neighbours of Neil's. They're your neighbours. I don't think she wrote this. Does anybody else feel that this wouldn't be how can it be your Neil's neighbours when you live with them? It's your neighbours who coordinate with the official sources. There have also been horseback searches, drones with different capabilities, helicopters, 3 different types of search dogs, neighbourhood canvassing and looking for ring or wildlife videos. Organisations involved are Benilio, I can't say that, County Sheriff's Office, which is the lead organisation. We now know the FBI took over another 2 weeks later. Albuquerque Field Office of the FBI, State Search Rescue, Albuquerque Mountain Rescue, Air Force Office of Special Investigations, Albuquerque Police Department, and many others of which I am unaware. Interesting. Why would you be unaware? I'm so grateful to one and all for their unflagging, dedicated support efforts. Now, I don't know if free speech didn't know I was live, right? So listen to this. It is, isn't it, Nikki? Really quick breakdown for free speech and Sing Blue Silver. This man was working with Space Force. He was a retired general. He run Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where allegedly the Roswell crash, what was left, the debris, went there. He was named in the Podesta emails as being the contact for Tom DeLonge on his UFO disclosure work. And he's just vanished into thin air. And this is his wife, apparently, allegedly, talking about his neighbours. Like, what? So I would like to take this opportunity. This is where things get really weird. And this is where I don't believe that she writ this. Okay. So it says, I would like to take this opportunity to dispel some of the misinformation circulating about Neil and his disappearance, mostly from uninformed media sources. The initial silver alert from the county sheriff's office mentioned medical conditions, which some have taken to mean Alzheimer's. Neil is at some risk, but not from dementia. He was not confused or disorientated. There was no concerning Friday morning telephone call to a close relative, which apparently is a rumour. I've been in contact with all of his close relatives and some not so close ones. This is a complete fabrication. It is true that when Neil was in the Air Force, this is where things get really dodgy, he had access to some highly classified programs and information. He retired from the Air Force almost 13 years ago, but he was still working with Space Force organisations, just saying, and has only held very commonly held clearances since. It seems quite unlikely that he was taken to extract very dated secrets from him, which is just rubbish. It's rubbish. He had top clearance. What? I don't think she wrote this. I think like his wife, since that call, I'm not sure if she's actually been seen. Just Facebook posts. I don't believe she wrote this. It is true that Neil had a brief association with the UFO community through Tom DeLonge, the former frontman for Blink 182 and the founder of the organisation To the Stars. Neil worked with Tom for a bit shortly after his Air Force retirement as an unpaid Neil's Choice consultant on military and technical scientific matters to lend verisimilitude, whatever that means, to Tom's fiction book. Why would his wife talk about whether his book's fiction or fact? He believes it's fact. And media activities. After the Russians hacked John Podesta's emails, this is no way his wife has written this. No way. There was less contact with Tom and the community pushing for release of UFO information. This connection is not a reason for someone to abduct Neil. Neil does not have any special knowledge about the ET bodies and debris from the Roswell crash stored at Wright-Patterson. Now, why would she even bring up, and why say that they are stored, not allegedly stored or rumoured to be stored? She says the ET bodies and debris from the Roswell crash stored at Wright-Patterson. Does this sound like a woman whose husband's been missing for a week and she's beside herself? Or is it like someone who's just made an entire fabrication? This is really bizarre. Whew. So she's put, though at this point with absolutely no sign of him, maybe the best hypothesis is that aliens beamed him up to the mothership. This is really bizarre. However, no sightings of a mothership hovering above the Sandia Mountains have been reported. All the thoughts and prayers from around the country are much appreciated. I will update if when real information comes in and a photo of her husband. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that was the most bizarre thing I have ever read in my life. There's no way, in my opinion, that that was his wife. Now, hang on, I'm just reading through. There's all there is support. I think a lot of this has been deleted because there would be so much more. I've clicked on all comments and there's only a few. So yeah. Now, what do you guys make of that? Does that sound like something that your other half would write if you was missing? Talking about debris coming from Roswell, talking about maybe the aliens beamed him up. This is somebody who's supposed to be absolutely devastated. Their husband has vanished. Let me go through the live chat and see what people are saying. Oh, weird, really weird. Okay, let me just get into the chat. It's kicked me out. Hang on. I'm not even sure. Yeah, if it is her, they can very easily get hold of her Facebook account. Hi, Saskia, love. There's free speech left. Hang on. Yeah, we'll have to have a catch up, sweetheart. We need to catch up. Very impersonal, says Nikki. I'm just trying to see what people are saying in chat. Yeah, like, why? It doesn't, does it? And the fact that she makes that sarcastic comment, like, if your other half of 30, 40 years, however long they were married, was vanished in a week later, would you say at this point maybe a mothership has beamed him up? And the fact that she talks about his neighbours, they're your neighbours, you live with him. That was written by a third party. And why bring up Roswell? And why? It's the way they said he doesn't know anything about the ET body stored at Wright-Patterson. Not apparently stored. So she's admitting then that they are stored there. That is the most bizarre thing. And there's so much bizarre things. There's just so many. How long have we been on now? Because I've got so much more on this. Do you want me to carry on, or do you want me to finish it tomorrow? Are people wanting to go to bed? Because there's even more weird stuff. Hang on a sec. I'm just going through this. Hang on. Because since this, we've now got, which makes this even weirder, we now have the body cam footage, folks. We have the body cam footage of only because of that Law and Crime Network. Hi, Lance. I'm still listening. Okay, well, I'll keep going then, guys. If you want to go to bed, replay will be left on because we might as well just keep going. Well, it's not shining here. Isn't it fascinating, Candice? So bring it up to today. He worked with, I say, Monica Reza. He worked with her. Now, I don't know where to start with this. The body cam footage is in. And the first one that we've got is, hang on, let me just get it up. When they interviewed the wife. So it's really annoying because the dogs are really barking in the background. Now, I did screen record a lot of this, and I was going to edit out the dogs barking in the background. It would have been a lot of work, but I haven't had a chance to do it yet. So if you guys are happy to listen to the annoying dog in the background, I can do it now. If not, I can screen record all of the talking and edit the dogs out in the background. I'm just letting you know, a lot of the complaints in the comment section were the dogs barking in the background. So if you can put up with that and listen to what she's saying. So this body cam footage now, let's just see how we go. If it gets too much, let me know and I'll clean it all up, but it'll take me a couple of days. This is when the police first arrive at the scene and speak to his wife. This was only put out a couple of days ago, so this is really fresh information. Now, there's more come out again since this. It's literally coming out as we speak. There's more and more and more and stuff coming out. A lovely walk around the block. You love annoying dogs. They are really annoying, though, honestly, when you're trying to listen, okay.
Out of the norm for you.
Completely out.
We've been all over the disappearance of retired Air Force General William Neil McCasland, right? This is new. This is the body cam from the beginning of the search, the beginning of his disappearance. We are going to play the key moments for you and how it fits into this puzzle. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. All right, real quick, before we jump into this, I got to tell you about our sponsor, this app, our partner, Upside. It was back a year. So the Air Force Major General gone. Not strange yet. Maybe he went for a walk. But then she starts looking. His phone on the counter, turned off. His smartwatch plugged in the bathroom. The shirt he was wearing when she left, hanging in the closet. He changed into something else. She doesn't know what. And her husband, this is William McCasland, a retired Air Force Major General who used to run the research lab at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. That's who we're talking about. The same base that conspiracy theorists have claimed for decades stored debris from Roswell. You probably heard the theories, UFOs, government secrets, but right now we have something that cuts through all of that. Brand new body cam footage from the deputies who responded to his disappearance.
He has a very classified security clearance. He was the head of Air Force Research Lab, to the point the man's names are in the UFO documents that are fixed to be released. He's in that in-depth, so he has a very high security clearance.
And if you're
that there was the call handler, the dispatch contacting the police and saying, you need to come and, this bloke's gone missing. I love this. I love the way that this all comes in from the very beginning.
Remember, William Neil McCasland is 68 years old, and as I said, retired Major General, United States Air Force. This isn't some random guy who wandered off. This is someone who spent 34 years working on some of the most sensitive technology the military has. Astronautical engineering, space acquisition, the National Reconnaissance Office, the spy satellite people. And eventually, he took command of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. That's the same lab that for decades, conspiracy theorists have claimed stored debris from Roswell. The Air Force has never confirmed that. But conspiracies aside, here's what we actually know about this situation.
February. Hello, Dennis, hello.
27th, Thursday morning, according to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, around 10 a.m., a repairman shows up at McCasland's home on Quail Run Court in Albuquerque. Scheduled appointment, goes inside, interacts with McCasland. That's confirmed. And about an hour later, at 11:10 a.m., his wife, Susan, leaves for a doctor's appointment. She gets back just after noon, 12:04. He's gone. And at first glance, maybe he stepped out for a walk. He's an avid outdoorsman, hiking, biking, skiing, knew those Sandia foothills cold. But then she starts looking around. His phone is still on the counter. His prescription glasses are sitting there. His smartwatch is abandoned. And his clothes, she knew what he was wearing when she left. She finds those clothes later in the closet. So he apparently changed into something else, something she can't identify.
Why would you? So literally, right, this guy could be naked at this point, right? So the clothes that he's wearing, yeah, they're gone. you leave. She only went out for an hour. She only went out to a doctor's appointment. She was gone for 1 hour and 10 minutes. She comes back, and her husband, who was wearing these clothes, her husband's gone, and the clothes that he was wearing were hanging back up in the wardrobe. So what's he wearing then? But there was rumours that they found his Air Force Base jumper, or sweater, they call in America, in the woods, but I think that was dispelled as nonsense. Really weird. So literally, does that mean he's naked? Does that mean he's naked then? Because no other clothes were missing, apart from his hiking boots. And he didn't have dementia. That isn't true. She said that. Well, I personally don't believe that she wrote that at all.
She calls 911, and right away, she says something that stops you cold.
This is April. How may I help you?
Hi, April. My name is Susan Wilkerson. My husband is missing.
Okay.
And it's been about 3 hours, and I have some indication that he must have planned not to be found. He's left his phone. He changed his clothes into I don't know what. I think he's on foot. All of our cars and bicycles are in the garage. I left for a doctor's appointment at about 11:10, and he was here at that time at the house. And I got back from that at noon, and he was gone. He turned it off and left it behind, which seems kind of deliberate because he's always got his phone. He has a smartwatch. I don't know if that's with him or not.
Has he ever done this before?
Never. Nothing even remotely like it. He's a retired Air Force Major General. He's very responsible, but he's also facing some medical issues.
Do you have any video at your home?
No.
Has he been diagnosed with any mental disorders or anything like that?
Well, we've been seeing a doc for both physical and mental in terms of anxiety, short-term memory loss, lack of sleep. The same doc I went to see today.
Does he carry any weapons on him?
Well, not generally. He does have a gun safe, and I went to look in the gun safe to see if anything was missing, but I couldn't tell if anything was. He has quite a number of pistols and rifles. Other than saying if his brain and body keep deteriorating, he didn't want to live like that. But it seemed to me that was just a, man, I hate how this is going kind of thing, because I told him, yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Okay. We're going to send some deputies up to talk to you, see if we can search a little bit and see what's going on, okay?
Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, ma'am.
But before deputies even arrived, before the body cam rolled, his wife did something else. She went public right there on Facebook. While the search was still in its first hours, she posted a plea for help. And then as the theory...
Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? So she rang the police. The free speech. I'm glad I'm so glad you've come in, because this is what I've been, what we were talking about last weekend. How weird this is. And I have covered now, I've lost count, but I think this is about the 11th or 12th missing or deceased NASA / anti-gravity / rocket scientist or person connected to the space programs. It's so weird. Ignore that. It's
she posted again. This time
she goes on Facebook, but they're talking about the one that I've just spoken about. But the first thing she does in the first hour is goes onto Facebook and says, my husband's missing, before the police even get there. But yeah, now he's going to talk about the one that we've just read out. So I'm going to keep going. But yeah, we're going to get the body cam footage soon as well, which is really weird.
Pressing the rumors directly. Quote, he retired from the AF, meaning the Air Force, almost 13 years ago and has had only very commonly held clearances since. It seems quite unlikely that he was taken to extract very dated secrets from him. And she also addressed the UFO connection, adding this, part explanation, part sarcasm. It is true that Neil had a brief association with the UFO community through Tom DeLonge, former frontman for Blink-182 and founder of the organization To the Stars. Neil worked with Tom for a bit shortly after his Air Force retirement as an unpaid, Neil's choice, consultant on military and technical scientific matters to lend verisimilitude to Tom's fiction book and media activities. Neil does not have any special knowledge about the ET bodies and debris from the Roswell crash stored at Wright Pat, though at this point, with absolutely no sign of him, maybe the best hypothesis is that aliens beamed him up to the mothership. However, no sightings of a mothership hovering above the Sandia Mountains have been reported. Yeah, that.
Why would you have sarcasm? Why? You just wouldn't do that. I don't believe that she wrote this. Doesn't it, Saskia? It's so bizarre. Like, you wouldn't. Oh, my husband's missing. He's been missing for a week now, right? They've been married for God knows how long. They weren't estranged. They were a loving couple. They weren't like, living separate lives. They were together. And she says at this point, oh, maybe the UFOs have got it, the mothership. But I've not seen any motherships. There's been no. What? And then she says his neighbours are working with the police. His neighbours, they're your neighbours. I don't believe for 1 minute that lady wrote that. I think they've done something to the wife, right? The wife was in the initial call. And I think that they've done something to her and they've taken over her Facebook. These people can just get into anyone's Facebook. They can do anything they want. Because I want to know if anyone's physically seen the wife since. Or is it just posts on Facebook? Literally, she might have made that call, had the police come out, and then we don't know. It's just a theory. Where is the wife? Have we seen her since?
Post went up days after he vanished, and meanwhile, deputies were already on their way to the house. And the first call a detective made wasn't to search the mountains. It was to a woman who had dinner with McCasland the night before.
Yeah, so I called in trying to get hold of everyone. I'm actually walking
Now, this is really weird. So this is what we're going to hear now, is they don't search, they ring the, so bizarre, this woman who we had dinner with. So listen to this call. I think there's another part of this as well. We'll find out, but this is really weird.
His favorite coffee shop right now to see if they've seen him. So I work with Mr. McCasland on the Kirtland Partnership. He's a board member. He's a retired general.
So he's working at the moment as a board member. He's not. He's retired from the Air Force, but he's still working on other projects. His wife said he had no clearance or anything.
Air Force Research Lab.
Okay.
And we had dinner.
Right, let me just go back a minute and listen to that bit again.
Wasn't to search the mountains. It was to a woman who had dinner with McCasland the night before.
Yeah, so I called in trying to get hold of everyone. I'm actually walking into his favorite coffee shop right now to see if they've seen him. So I work with Mr. McCasland on the Kirtland Partnership. He's a board member. He's a retired general with Air Force.
So the date there then, the 28th, this call. Now, he went missing on the 27th, so this is the next day. It isn't that morning.
Research lab.
Okay.
And we had dinner Thursday evening at Cervantes off of Gibson.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock with Space Force. And
so the night before he goes missing, the actual night before he goes missing, he has dinner with this mysterious woman who is working on a secret project with about Space Force. You could not make this shit up.
I was shocked this morning when I saw the alert, because what I noticed Thursday evening is he wasn't his usual self. He was kind of spacey and quiet. And you know, that happens with people, so I didn't put anything with it.
Right.
He left in his vehicle, and then I called this morning. I called security forces out of Kirtland just to ensure he hasn't used his card out there, and he hasn't. He has an access based, and they're going to keep monitoring that area. But from what I understand, let me tell you this first. So Thursday evening, he was wearing a blue and white striped collared shirt, button down.
Okay.
And he was wearing a little name tag, his KPC name tag. And so from what I understand, is he left the house. His wife didn't take anything, was on the running trail, and it was last seen at 11 o'clock yesterday.
Right. Does he carry like a security clearance or anything like that?
He has a very classified security clearance. He was the head of Air Force Research Lab. To the point, the man's names are in the UFO documents that are fixed to be released.
Okay.
He's in that in-depth, so he has a very high security clearance.
Now, back at the house, a deputy is talking with McCasland's wife, and she's starting to piece together a timeline.
I wish we knew. I mean, the doctor has given him...
Right, so this is the annoying dog. So let me know how you get on. If it's really bad and it's unlistenable, I will go away and try and clear up the background noise. We've got some software that can do that. A lot of people in the comments are really annoyed about the dog. So just let me know, guys, how you're getting on, if it's getting too annoying. But this is when they've just turned up at at his house. And this is the initial. But before they even got there, they're saying that he had a call with that woman. But the date was the 28th. Now, he allegedly went missing on the 27th. So I don't understand that. But anyway, let's have a listen. She could have moved the dogs. Obviously, she's locked them in the next room. They're obviously guard dogs. They don't like the police in the house. But, you know, I'm sure they could have done something with these dogs. This would have, if I was this copper, I would be screwing about these dogs right now.
Referrals to a neurologist, to a gastroenterologist, a psychologist, but those were just earlier this week. So
what is causing him to go to the doctor and getting those referrals? What are issues?
In addition to some physiological changes within the past 2 months, like his internal temperature regulation mechanism has gotten haywire. He's sweating all the time, which for a guy who loves skiing and slipped on snow and a baby bag is not good.
So dementia is not a concern.
He's had anxiety. He's had brain, I guess you call it fog, short-term memory loss, certainly. He's resigned from a board he was on back in Washington because he said he just couldn't keep up with what he was talking about.
Then the deputy asks about weapons.
Do you have any weapons that you guys keep in the home?
Yes. Brad has quite a few rifles and handguns that are in a gun stock.
Would you know if any of them were missing?
Well, I checked the gun safe. The first thing I noticed was, I had to get the key to even open it, but it was unlocked, but it was shut. But I looked inside and I couldn't tell. There's nothing obvious about what might be missing because I don't keep track of it. So a lot of them are kind of, kind of historical pieces. But he has functional guns.
How are people coping with this dog? I'm just reading through people's comments. It's just so weird, isn't it? I'm struggling to concentrate on what she's saying because of the dog, but I'm trying to sort of drown it out. So the only reason why this got released is because in the US, when you do a Freedom of Information request, they actually act upon it, unlike in the UK. So this Law and Crime Network, this channel on YouTube, they actually contacted. I can block the dog. Okay, fab. Nikki, great. They got hold of this footage. So this is them. If you look on the internet, I'm just looking at Peter. Hello, Peter. It's really weird, isn't it? Really weird. Now, again, if this was just one case, you could say that this is just weird. But this is like number 12 of the similar stories. They always leave their wallet. They always leave their phone. They always leave their watch. Well, this one took his wallet. They often take a gun. and they just disappear into nothing. And there's never any trace in any direction.
The detective on scene starts asking about where he might have gone.
Is there anywhere he know to go? Like, does he places to like eat or go?
Oh my God, this dog.
Well, I drove around. We have a friend about 2 miles away, and I drove to her house and knocked on the door. We have a key to her house. The key is here in that bedroom, and she is in Cancun.
Oh, wow.
So,
What's his birthday?
yeah,
Do you know what, right? At no point are these officers saying, right, is there any way you can shut your dogs up or put them into a different room, right? I'm genuinely thinking that these dog barks have been added in after to put anybody off listening to this. Because if just think of this situation, if this happened and someone came to your house and this was happening and it was a really serious situation and that was going on, nobody on that footage is even acknowledging those dogs. Nobody. I don't think that they actually are really there. I think this has been added in. It doesn't even sound real. It's like a well, irritating. It's like, yeah, we're going to release the footage, but we're going to piss people off to the point where they won't want to listen to it. I don't know, just now I've said that, listen to it. It doesn't sound like it's really going on in this situation.
he's 68. Now,
does he have a New Mexico ID? If I ran him, would he come back with that from here?
from what?
New Mexico driver's license? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. And so is there any like trails that he frequents? Like,
Well, I drove up into Elena Gallegos. I drove around our neighborhood, his house.
you went over.
I mean, yeah, maybe he hiked up Lalu, so it's going to take the tram back. That's odd that he would have left it running his watch.
Then this is completely like out of the norm for him.
Completely out of him.
And then his wife brings up something that she mentioned on the 911 call. But here she adds more detail. The trip that he was supposed to take, the friends, and what he was worried about.
I mean, you'll see it all over the house. Preparations. He was going to a backcountry ski hut next week with 17 friends.
Sweet. Wow.
A ski into kind of place. So there's food and gear and there's all kind of things out that he was setting aside for that. But he was worried that his physiology was going to let him down on this trip.
Then questions turn to, how is McCasland feeling?
Have you noticed just like his mentation? Has that been different? Was it different today?
Today, he had taken a drug that the doctor prescribed last night that was supposed to help with sleep. With weight gain, he's lost about 20 pounds for no reason.
I'm just reading the chat here. Yeah, she's really calm. Her voice sounds strange as well, like edited. Yeah. And if you look here, this guy, he's not acting annoyed like the dog is in the background. You know, it's weird, isn't it? I imagine them being Alsatians, the dogs barking, but it doesn't. This whole scenario feels off. The voice is very clear. So if this is the body cam, is this supposed to be her here? Because the body cam, I seen a wrinkly hand as though it's her view. It doesn't seem. And why would they just look at the way he sat as well? He looks really AI. It seems this has been construed, and the dog barking is to make people not want to listen, in my opinion.
And with anxiety. And today he woke up and said, well, I got better sleep, but it's it's like after effects of a bad hangover.
It's acting like the person who's got the body cam on is her. I'm sure we've seen. Hang on, let me just go back just so I know where we are. Here you go. Here's the hand, the wrinkly hand. Hang on.
Physiological changes within the past 2-3 months, like
is that her?
His internal.
Sure, seen a wrinkly hand like her.
Oh wow!
And he's
Right, let me go back a bit.
She adds more detail. The trip that he
Aslan, he goes by Neil.
Right, so is that her then? Have I gone too far, guys? Guys, have I gone too far? Let me know. I think I have. Blue jumper is the woman. Right, so there she is. Okay. I think I've gone too far. Right. Okay.
wasn't feeling.
Have you noticed, like, just like his mentation? Has that been different? Was it different today?
Today, he had taken a drug
Hi,
that the
Susan.
doctor prescribed last night that was supposed to help with sleep. With weight gain, he's lost about 20 pounds for no reason, and with anxiety. And today he woke up and said, well, I have got better sleep, but it's like after effects of a bad hangover. I'm just foggy. I can't get any motivation to do anything. And like I said, he was very clingy. He wanted me right beside him.
Did you hear that? He was very clingy. He wanted me right beside him. Now, if your partner was acting like that, acting weird and was very clingy, would you really go to this appointment and leave him? I find this so bizarre, that comment. He was very clingy. I didn't want to leave him. What the hell is that about? Feels off, doesn't it? It really does feel off. And if he was clingy, you wouldn't go, or you could go with. If she's got to go to the doctor, she has to go. Fair enough. But why didn't he go with her, or why didn't she rearrange it? You know, it makes no sense, does it?
Physical, mental. He's very, very active physically and has always had a very sharp mind. Retired Major General from PhD from MIT.
Oh wow!
And he's been feeling brain fog. Please have a seat. His name is William Neil McCasland. He goes by Neil, N-E-R. McCasland. So anyway, today he was quite down and kind of clingy, which is unusual. And I had a doctor's appointment. I remember looking at my car clock. I backed out at 11:10. And I was back by around noon and he was gone. And I found his phone turned off and left on his nightstand. I found his smartwatch plugged in the bathroom.
I'm sorry, right? But there's no way that that dog or those dogs are really in the background. They're not there. If that was right, why is it that they're so loud where the person whose body cam, who's doing the interviewing, why is it that it's so loud where he is? What do you guys reckon? if there was a dog barking that loud, you would literally be, you could mute it, Space Cat, if you can just want to stay in the chat then, couldn't you? If you just turn the sound down and, you know, read the chat, it's up to you. But she's not even attempting to talk over them. If that was really in that situation, I don't believe those dogs are there. Or they might be there, but I don't believe, unless they were barking, but they've enhanced the noise of the barking, you know? Woof, woof. Do you know what I mean? That's a possibility, isn't it? That there was dogs barking, but it was quite quiet. And they've like turned it up to they don't want us to listen to this, is my opinion.
And all the cars are here, bicycles are here, so he has to.
All cars are here, all bicycles are here. Look at the time. He went missing between 10 and 11 in the morning. It's just gone 5 o'clock. And they're only just here. George's
I
back.
found the shirt he was wearing when I left in the closet, so I don't know what he was wearing.
So this is the part where the deputy circles back on something that could have helped, a GPS device. McCasland had one for backcountry trips, but his wife checks, and what does she find?
You think this might have GPS, like tracking, two-way radio?
Or it's his avalanche beacon. I'm not sure. Let's see. Gosh almighty.
I think this is when she goes looking for the smartwatch, I think it is.
This does not have.
Have you noticed that every time anyone speaks, they put the dog barking noise on as well? That's not there. It reminds me, you know, Big Brother. Do you remember Big Brother when they were streaming 24/7 and they didn't want you to hear it, and they would put the noise on, the cricket noise or whatever it was. They'd put random noises on. That barking was not doing it. When she was just searching and there was no talking, there was no barking. As soon as he spoke, the barking started. It's been added in. It's the same. Dogs don't bark continuously like that in that same rhythm for all of that time. There would be some breaks. Somebody would have said at some point, "Are your dogs okay? You know, is there anything you can do? Like, can you feed them or something? You know, nothing, or put them outside." And they always, no matter where, they've gone into a different room now, and yet you can still hear them the same. Nah, that has been added in. That has.
InReach is a satellite communications cell phone in essence. And it gives position every time it sends a message. And you can go back once you receive a message and even like click on a connection, and it will show you the track that has been followed.
Okay.
So it does talk to GPS.
Yeah.
And it also allows text via satellite.
Yeah, this is the internet that I'm reading says that this doesn't have any GPS or anything.
Okay, so that's his avalanche beacon then.
Is it possible he may have that with him?
What was that? That he's supposed to have satellite GPS on it, and it's missing.
He deliberately left his phone and watch.
Meanwhile, police also talked to neighbors, knocking on doors, looking for any camera that might have caught which way McCasland went. And one neighbor mentions a tunnel, this hidden route most people don't even know about.
As you walk down the trail from San Rafael Light and then go over, there's a...
Is this a neighbour, sorry? Let me just listen again. Is this a neighbour? That looks like that's somebody in their dressing gown, isn't it? That's not the same person, is it? Right, let's have a listen. I need to listen to this bit again, sorry.
His phone and watch.
Meanwhile, police also talked to neighbors, knocking on doors, looking for any camera that might have caught which way McCasland went. And one neighbor mentions a tunnel, this hidden route most people don't even know about.
As you walk down the trail from San Rafael Light, and then go over. There's a great tunnel underneath where although they built new apartments and condos or something.
Yeah.
Surprised they've not put the dog noise over this bit now, you know. Wouldn't it be funny though if they had? So why didn't there's these mysterious tunnels away from the house? Why didn't the wife mention these mysterious tunnels?
To the west side.
Okay.
So that's only been there probably about 3 or 4 years. To me, it just seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But when I worked on a lot of the trails and all of this stuff, and the lights and downlighting and the county and stuff like that.
Right.
So when we put in that tramway trail.
Right, let's get this straight. This is the next day, right? The 28th is the day after he went missing, and it's just before 12:30 lunchtime. So they never spoke. They've shown this as though they came out of the house and went to the neighbour. Why wouldn't you speak to the neighbour the same day, unless the neighbour came out to them? But I'm just keeping an eye on this, the date and the time. Really weird.
Also, on the black asphalt pavement, there's kind of a little walk place where you can also go down kind of into the wash over here.
Okay.
And underneath that, the reason why that all the setbacks are the way they are is because there is underneath a tunnel that we made especially for a rider on a horse. Because in the olden days, that was the North Albuquerque Acres where everybody had horses.
Sure.
Up here, you just live with rattlesnakes. But over there, the horse people. So we have a huge tunnel underneath that a rider can two riders can ride kind of side by side abreast on the horse and go underneath that tunnel.
Okay.
From that far side, and it goes underneath, and this trail next to the black asphalt, there's just kind of a little walking down slope, and that's where a huge tunnel for the riders to come through on their horses. Then the middle of the trail goes up and then crosses Sims Park Road at a place where a rider can then ride on into Elena Gallegos.
Then the neighbor adds something else, a warning about where that tunnel leads and who might have been living down there now.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing from some of the
From
neighbors.
bobcats, cougars, bear, everything. But the bears, I don't know if they've woken up yet, but birds, lots of. But this is not an unusual place where. Anyway, but that if he wanted to go down just a trail, the black asphalt trail, underneath that tunnel, what I've been worrying about is homeless moving in there because it's like a condo down there, probably. Are there people living under there?
I haven't been down there yet, but it's probably.
I want the county to check it out because, I mean, there's a network we don't even know about.
Yeah.
What? What was that? I need to listen to that bit again. These mysterious tunnels.
Birds, lots of. But this is not an unusual place where. Anyway, but that if he wanted to go down just a trail, the black asphalt trail, underneath that tunnel, what I've been worrying about is homeless moving in there because it's like a condo down there, probably. Are there people living under there?
I haven't been down there yet, but it's probably.
I want the county to check it out because, I mean, there's a network we don't even know about.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great protected tunnel area because because it was made for the horses and riders to go through.
Big up, Carlos.
And the cars go over the top of that bridge over there.
Okay.
So that I would just say that's about the only little.
And it's the one right across from the new.
Well, see where Sim Park Road comes out, and that's the city. That's the Elena Gallegos Trail. That's the Elena Gallegos Road going up to the wilderness area.
Oh, okay.
Police also speak with another neighbor. This is a man who used to work with Neil McCasland. And what he says about the general, it paints a very specific picture.
Yeah, he used to be my boss. He's a retired general, Air Force. You know, I haven't seen him in forever.
Did you say he was my boss? So this was before that lady then, 1041.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I see him like once every.
I haven't
What he
seen
says
him.
about the general,
I haven't seen him in forever. Let's have a listen again.
It's a very specific picture.
Yeah, he used to be my boss. He's a retired general, Air Force. Neil McCasland, I haven't seen him in forever.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I see him like once every. I haven't seen him. I thought I saw Susan, his wife, walking up the driveway.
Do you not think he looks really anxious? I haven't seen him since. Watch his body language. I haven't seen him since forever. Watch his body language.
Of course. Neil McCasland, I haven't seen him in forever.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I see him
Really
like once every.
defensive.
I haven't seen him.
Did you
I
see
thought I
that
saw-
with the knees? That was really interesting. I haven't seen him in forever. He's lying. He is lying. And he used to work with him.
Susan, his wife, walking up the driveway a day or two ago, but I haven't seen McCasland.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right.
He drives around in that little.
He keeps putting his hand on his face as well, which is like a defensive thing when you're lying. You know, you're trying to cover up your face. And now he's talking about the car. He's relaxed because he knows that bit's the truth. He's lying, or he knows something, or he's terrified to say anything in case they come for him next.
Sports car, and he's got like a Range Rover, like in safari vehicle.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you see his dude was parked outside. Neil used to be my boss. My boss's boss's boss, which is hilarious. I briefed him back in 2000 when he visited Boston. So I think they had the house here, and I lived in Boston, and he came up to the air base.
Okay.
And I briefed for him projects I had. He was this scary colonel. He's a PhD.
Boston is another place where the MIT professor got shot dead on his porch.
I'm a PhD, but like he's a PhD in some other science, engineering, and then he ran the science.
When he gets uncomfortable, he bends his knees. He's talking about science and engineering. Watch.
It's engineering, and then he ran the scientific lab, and he's like smart as hell, and and he's really straight laced, and like so he's not a. If you walk, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Unless he went for a walk
Does look
and
nervous.
an aneurysm or stroked out or something, but then he'd be on.
Walking on the road somewhere.
Yeah, he'd be on the bike path.
Some people will we're going to re-look at Denver Airport. I covered it years ago, Lee. I don't know if you were with me then. God, you would have been. It was about 5-6 years ago. It's about time we look back at that. I was talking about that to Al the other day, actually, about Denver Airport. But yeah, this guy looks really, really nervous. So he said it was his boss's boss. So he literally run right Patterson.
Yeah.
Flip the trail up.
Right.
Oh, man.
That same neighbor, the one who used to work for McCasland, also mentioned something else. Cameras.
Next door, the folks right here, they have a little entryway that's it's a fenced in, but they have a ringtone camera. Right here, these guys, right behind that wall is their front door and a little patio.
Oh,
so they have a
Do you
camera.
not find it strange that all of them haven't got Ring cameras? Everyone's got cameras now. There's always cameras. They've got coyotes wandering around here. There's always cameras around. And there's one person with a Ring camera, but yet it didn't pick him up. So let's continue.
That would see maybe the little gate they have.
I thought this not Neil's? Yeah.
No, they're the next house. And then the house, the bigger house, like up the hill with a curved driveway.
Yeah.
And you'll see the extra, like there's I forget what it's called, like a big Range Rover thing.
Yeah.
And then, and they have a fenced-in yard, and they got a dog that they don't walk a lot, but he barks at night because he can see between the fence.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so he's 2 houses over.
Okay.
Neil and Susie.
Back at the trailhead, deputies are
What?
stopping.
Neil and Sue? Did you just say the house over Neil and Susie, or over from Neil and Susie?
Is this not Neil's? Yeah.
No, they're the next house. And then the house, the bigger house, like up the hill with a curved driveway.
Yeah.
And you'll see the extra, like there's I forget what it's called, like a big Range Rover thing.
Yeah.
And then, and they have a fenced-in yard, and they got a dog that they don't walk a lot, but he barks at night because he can see between the fence.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so he's 2 houses over.
Okay.
Neil and Susie.
Back at the trailhead.
The dog, they don't walk a lot, and it looks between the gap. Neil and Susie. He was literally describing their house, which is just weird. Neil and Susie. Why would you say that the neighbour's house 2 houses up is Neil and Susie's? Neil and Susie's, Neil's the one that's missing. And his name's William, but people used to call him Neil. His middle name. But he actually says Neil and Susie as though he's pointing to their house. And even the copper says, isn't that their house? Do they own 2 houses? That was weird.
Deputies are stopping hikers, showing them a photo, asking if they've seen anyone matching McCasland's description. And there's one group that mentions a man with a walking stick, oriented.
I'm looking for a missing person, my child.
Oh, okay.
So I do got a picture. I don't know what he's wearing though, unfortunately. See, I thought I had a picture. Yeah, there it is. It's gonna be the one in the black shirt.
I don't think so.
No.
That wasn't the guy. Was that the old man that was talking to us? He doesn't seem like he was lost though. He didn't seem lost, but there was one guy with a walking stick that kind of looks like him.
He might be. We're not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's suicidal.
He was oriented. He was very oriented.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
Like maybe an hour ago.
Yeah.
It was like right at the beginning. Like he would have already been down here.
Yeah. Okay. He was coming on his way back.
Yeah, he was probably 2-3 minutes from the entrance.
What was he wearing?
Walking this
So
way.
he had like a blue shirt.
Blue. Did he have a blue hat just like yours?
Yeah.
I think I talked
maybe
to
a
that.
cap.
He had a cap.
Cap?
Yes.
Okay.
And sunglasses.
I
And
talked to
2
someone down
hiking
there.
sticks.
And 2 hiking sticks.
And a backpack.
Okay. If you guys see that person, just call in and just let us know.
Absolutely, I will.
I'll be cruising around. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, a deputy is back with the canine handler, and they're trying to figure out where to even start tracking. The problem? They don't know which direction McCasland left the house.
If we're dealing with someone who is suicidal at this point, like, what would make him suicidal? Is
So
it a
she said the neurocalls were saying he's having a very hard time with temperatures, and he has a big skiing snow trip coming up with 17 friends, and he's worried that he won't make it physically.
He has a skiing trip coming up with 17 friends. Weird.
Okay. What about financial stuff? Do you know anything? Is there
No.
any hardship there? No mention of it.
Dom's leading question. I don't think that's been asked yet.
Because this is my thing too. Is like, I wanted to know exactly if they go on walks like out here, like if he's walking, she said along this trail. That's a long ways to get to that point. Yes. Just to get to the trail. Well, I could possibly track him with a dog, but it would have to be from like a little spot where we know that this is probably where we walked through. So if it's in the
Does
backyard,
he mean, or does he seem like an actor? Let's just watch his body language again. This doesn't look like a normal altercation, like a normal conversation with another colleague, a police officer. It comes across as he's acting, the way he's using his hands.
Dom's leading question. I don't think that's been asked yet.
because this is my thing too. Is like, I wanted to know exactly if they go on walks like out here, like if he's walking, she said along this trail. That's a long ways to get to that point. Yes. Just to get to the trail. Well, I could possibly track him with a dog, but it would have to be from like a little spot where we know that this is probably where we walked through. So if it's in the backyard and we skirt up that way, I could track him all the way. I've tracked up to a mile with him before. So I'll do it. Yeah. And I'll probably just need, because I don't know if he's going to be crossing over roads. He's done urban stuff too. I need like a dirty pair of socks. Or
She has the clothes he was wearing earlier today.
That might work. We're going to canvass the area. If I can figure out like exactly where he had taken off from, like even like if he walked through the backyard and like kind of went up this way, would he do something like that?
Never do that.
Okay, so he'd basically stay on the streets.
He'd be leaving the property one way or another on Quill Run.
Okay, that's what I want to figure out. Because if we're gonna start looking, I want to know, like, I guess, is he physically able to start going through
He's physically able to climb a loose trail to the crest.
Yeah, probably more so than me then. I've done that once, and I was not about to do it again. Okay, well,
he does that 2 or 3 times a year.
Good for him. Then we're going to start canvassing, or you're going to start driving around and seeing at that point.
Let's see the picture that you have from one more time.
Sure.
So we'll have a fresh image in our head. Okay. Okay, perfect.
Okay. His name again?
Neil McCasland.
Yeah, that's great.
You want to ask for the last close he was wearing?
I don't know if I'll get to that point. If it gets to a point to where I'm able to track him with my dog, I'll ask you for the clothes that he was wearing.
Okay.
And we'll go that route with it. I don't know if I have a good area to start that, so I don't think I'm going to be able to at this moment.
Okay.
But if it gets to that point, then I'm able to track him with my dog here.
Okay. I'm pretty sure since Quillen Court is a cul-de-sac and all you can do is kind of go toward Tramway, that he would have left that direction on Quillen.
Drone operators are out searching too, but the terrain is brutal. One deputy explains what they're up against.
So Sarge wants us to go check the other house, the house that she's talking about.
Oh, the one that the friends that are.
Yeah. So even though that they're gone, if one of you wouldn't mind heading that way, then he's gonna ask missing persons for a 21 now and see what these guys come up with.
So she said that if he does go hiking locally, if he's not going over to the rivers, she takes Marigold to San Rafael and San Rafael all the way to Honeysuckle, and that goes to the back of the neighborhoods. And looking at the map, there's a bunch of trails.
I'm sure. Well, that's, yeah. I mean, if he's gonna bring out the dog to track, that'd be cool. But
He's saying without knowing which exit he left.
yeah, I'm sure it's guessing 360 degrees. But yeah, so if one of you will head to that other house,
Yeah, man. I got it.
yeah.
You got this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Let me go get the address.
Watch it.
You're not hooked.
I am hooked. Oh, sorry. Sweet. Yeah, there. I mean,
Like the
without knowing and with we're
ask her
already.
if looks like possibly a bicycle. I don't know if he has a bicycle.
Yeah.
She said all the bicycles were here.
Oh, they are here. Oh, okay. So there's like some fresh prints. Cool.
Yeah, because she said like he's like an outdoor dude, so he's always hiking. He's on bikes. Like he's.
Gosh darn it! Why can't he's lazy?
It'd be like me, dude. I would have walked to the mailbox and be like, I'm tired. I'm going home, dude. You keep going back there?
She said he most likely left either to the garage or a sliding door over here.
Yeah.
Why haven't they checked that neighbour's Ring doorbell? He said that house had like a Ring doorbell. But all this happened in February. We're now in like nearly June. There's no Ring doorbell footage ever come forward, ever. And they don't know which way he went or anything. He's just vanished into thin air. No doorbell, no dash cam footage, nothing, no dog scent, nothing. He literally he could have been beamed up. Literally. And that is the same for all of these missing people. There's no dogs. The dogs couldn't pick up a scent. And when they have found items of clothing, there's no scent from the clothing. So if you've dropped something and you carry on walking, the dogs will pick up the scent. It's like some physical somebody else has been dropping things. Like when they found Monica Reza's hat, there was no trail from it. But the next show, I've got another one to cover. But yeah, we'll finish Neil McCasland tonight, I think.
Here. Yeah, this looks like it's all backyards.
Like unfenced backyard.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's why
I probably say he's up that San Rafael trail, like over where it just opens up in those trails that you're looking at. Yeah. That's what my guess would be.
You want to go just ATL?
What's his name? Neil, right?
It's William Neil.
William Neil. I'll go.
His last name is McCasland. Did you see the picture of him?
Yeah.
Days turned into weeks, and the search didn't stop. According to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office, they canvassed more than 700 homes, door to door, ring cameras, security footage, anything that might have caught him leaving. Drone operations, helicopter support, ground searches with search and rescue teams, canine units, horses, volunteers. They scoured the foothills, the trails, the open space around his home, and still nothing. Then you go to March 7th. More than a week into the search, investigators find something. A gray U.S. Air Force sweatshirt, about 1.25 miles east of McCasland's residence. They collect it, they process it. No blood detected in the initial testing, but the family couldn't confirm it was his. By the 2-week mark, the sheriff's office released a new photo of McCasland, light green button-up shirt. Investigators said they believe that's what he was wearing when he disappeared. They also confirmed what was still missing: his hiking boots, his wallet, a .38 caliber revolver with a leather holster, retired Air Force Major General, PhD from MIT, a man who once commanded the research lab at Wright-Patterson, the same base at the center of decades of UFO speculation, still nowhere to be found. So I will tell you at this point, if you were in the Sandia foothills on February 27th, 28th, check your cameras, check your doorbell footage, dash cams, even photos you took that day. He might be in the background. You could submit tips to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office Missing Persons Unit at 505-468-7070, or you can text anonymously through tip 411, text B.
Right, I'm not sure if we've got anything else. Hang on a minute. I think we might have another one, but it won't be today now because I've got to go. I need a wee, and we've got stuff to do, but just hold on a sec. Right, I'm coming off now. I need to do. Right, so we've seen that one. Thought there was another one since. Do you not find it weird though that you had that meeting, that meal with that woman, and she says that it was to do with Space Force? Like, no, there's nothing else there. That is really, really bizarre, isn't it? Really bizarre. So obviously anything else happens, I will let you know. Ooh, yeah, there's allegedly a sweatshirt found, but there's no evidence it was his. So next one, probably it'll be tomorrow, actually. I'll just check the date. Yeah, it's the 30th, isn't it? 31st tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be doing tomorrow night. We won't be on a Monday. I'm going out Monday, and I will be out all day. So we'll be back next week, but we will be back tomorrow night because I want to cover another one, maybe two. Really bizarre, but that one I knew was going to be a full stream with one person. So I'm going to change the thumbnail to add a bit more in about Neil, and I try and keep them quite generic and then sort of adjust them after. Really interesting. I'm glad you guys have enjoyed that. Please, guys, consider hitting the like if you don't mind. It does really, really help the algorithm. Hype it as well if you can. And if you want to join the membership, it really does help. So, right, guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Can't say a time. It's really difficult with I can try and go earlier before I do the hogs. That's an option. I don't know if 7's too early. Free speech. Are you around tomorrow evening if I went a bit earlier, do you think? Because I'm going to be covering another one of these, and I think you'll find that one interesting as well. I don't know if you'll be free. I know you have a lot on of a Sunday. But yeah, interesting, wasn't it? Right then, I will be back tomorrow, and I will see you all then. Take care. Good night. God bless. Lots of love. And don't have nightmares. That's what they say on Crime Watch. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.